From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big noontime here on LALATE with incredible details about your forced stimulus check updated 2021 today. In this recording, we go over the breaking news as the president calls the vote. The voting of the forced stimulus recon is commencing. I have all the incredible details in this noontime broadcast. We'll be going over the monthly stimulus check the Democrats want you to have under this forced stimulus package. We'll be then cutting to fifth stimulus in the second half of this video. They'll raise your benefits up a lifetime and give you another stimulus check. Oh, yes. And then in the middle of the video, we go over the big money you can get right now. Thousands of dollars viewers get every single day, and it's your day to get it today. It's a big noontime. It's a big, exciting day. Let's get to the breaking news starting right now, this minute, on Noontime LALATE. Hey, good noontime, everybody. How are you doing? How's the weather where you are? And tell me where you're tuning in from. Is it a good day or is it a hot day? Well, it's a hot day here in Southern California. It's cooling down finally, but it was miserable yesterday and this morning. Heat wave underway, and hopefully you have better weather. So if you're watching right now, tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Drop in the comments right now and tell me where you're watching and how's the weather. In this forced stimulus check updated 2021 today, we'll be going over the breaking news. President's calling the vote. He is calling the vote on your fourth stimulus reconciliation process. Then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus later in this video that goes over the raising of your benefits. And a lot of breaking news about this. It's exciting. Plus another fifth stimulus check. OMG. Then in the middle of this video, we go over the big money you can get right now, and viewers continue to get it. It's your opportunity. But first, this is LALATE, your 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week, the only financial news channel in the United States that records 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Live in the morning like right now, and taped in the afternoons next back with Afternoons LALATE at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, followed by Evenings LALATE and Overnights Crypto and Evenings Crypto. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Hit that subscribe button right now. I want you part of this family. Like this video, 3,000 likes. It really helps the algorithm ranking and helps get rid of the heat wave. Just try that for today. See if it gets rid of the heat wave. I mean, it has been cooling down since I've been saying that, so maybe it's working. Hit that like button, get rid of the bad weather. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus items from the House and from the Senate. The House provides a monthly stimulus check bill. The Senate provides a monthly stimulus check proposal. Let's compare the payouts, starting with how many months. House wants you to have a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. Senators want you to have a stimulus check from July to December. Interesting. Let's look at the monthly payouts. Monthly payouts from the House, $2,000 first month, $1,000 thereafter. Senate amount from those Senate Democrats, unknown, but word on the street is it's this, OMG. Senate Democrats reportedly want to pay you $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. That is per person. OMG, yes. Really good news. If you're on the live chat just after 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, vote House or Senate and tell me where you're tuning in from. But wait for this detail, which is the macroeconomics, which may reduce the House bill from Jollopole down to 1 year. Not pandemic plus 1 year, but just 1 year. That would mean that there would be 12 months of 12 checks. Under the House bill, that's $13,000 over 12 months. Let's compare that to this over 6 months. Okay, I think you have an opinion. Which one do you like? Senator House. Senator House, jump into the live chat right now and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather, Senator House. Let's go over all those details starting right now. Who gets a fourth stimulus check? Democrats want everyone who got a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. Wow. So if you're a single individual making less than $75,000, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Marry a couple, $150,000 or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check and double it. If you are a household 4 or less, Democrats want you to have a forced stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you are on benefits, the Democrats want you to have a forced stimulus check. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, rural benefits, veterans benefits, they want you to have a fourth stimulus check. So there you go. Wow, that is wonderful. The forced stimulus check is not taxable because it's not income. The forced stimulus check is a monthly stimulus check. It doesn't come in waves. So don't try to reach out to the check and wave at it, because it will not wave back at you, and you will think it's very rude. Hi, check. Didn't wave back at me again. How rude are you? It's not a waveable check. It can't wave at you. Then the Democrats represent that the forced stimulus check would be the same for everyone. Adult dependents, minor dependents, and people who don't wave. The forced stimulus check would go out in the month of July. We all understand that because they represent that the final vote would be the month of July. That means the forced stimulus check would start in the month of July for the month of July, and in the month of August for the month of August, and there you go. That is our first of 3 parts of the forced stimulus check updated 2021 in this video. In the second part, I'll be going over what the president said and why he said. Call the vote next week for recon. Start voting. OMG. I'm loving it, and I'm sure you're loving it as well. And I have more breaking news as the president anchors a major deal about forced stimulus. Wow. But first, let's take a look at the second half of this video, which will talk about fifth stimulus, raising up your benefits, a new surprise of $1 billion cash infusion. Also, inflationary rate, that benchmark could raise your benefits up 10% lifetime. Wow. There's a lot more than $2,400, $200 a month of SSI. This is gazillions of a lot more. And then the surprise of a fifth stimulus check. Wow. That's coming up in the second half of this video. But let's get some money. Let's get some money. If you're new to this channel, that's what I do. I'm not a news reporter where I sit there and read a script with a blank wall and no set. Yeah. I'm actually a person who gets people money. In March of last year, when people's businesses were failing, I stepped in April and got people $25 million of EIDL loans to save their businesses, their homes, and also their employees' homes. Then in fall of 2020, when second stimulus was not becoming law, I stepped in and got people $250,000 of rent and utilities. Well, you're killing it because you're getting this money right now as well. And we're going to go over that big money. Get a pen and paper ready, or Crayon Crown if that's really what you use, so long as it matches what I'm wearing. And we're going to go over that big money. In this video, we're going to go over mortgage assistance, rent, utilities, homeowners assistance. Stay to the very end. I got a lot of money to get you. Get ready. We're going to go over different places, but first what's important for you to know is that each place has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next until you get that yes. The rent is a lot. Let's start with that rent. It's about $5,000, about 4 to 6 months of rent, so go get it. Are you ready? Here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID. You don't say words that they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's lobster bake. They don't know those words, so don't say them. You can also say mortgage assistance because of COVID. And there you go, $5,000 for rent approximately. Tim and Linda got this money. If you got a penny from this channel or 100,000 pennies from this channel, trust me, I've gotten viewers 100,000 as well. Drop in the live chat. Any penny you got has inspired someone else to get money. I want everyone in this channel to keep on getting money. It's third stimulus. We are not tracking checks, we're cashing checks. And I got inspired yesterday. As another viewer got $5,000, $6,000 for this next item. A viewer last week got $6,000, $7,000 for it. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, for her son, and her mom. Gail got it. What is it? It's SNAP. It is SNAP. It is money for food. It is money for food for Department of Agriculture. So reach out to Department of Agriculture to get it. Eligibility is generally about the same as a stimulus check. How much does it pay? It pays a lot. A family of 4, for example, in Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year now. Wow, so why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden and one from Trump that raise your benefits 15% between now and December. So go get it. There we go, $5,000 approximately for rent, $16,000 for SNAP for a family of 4 in Hawaii. We are killing it. Killing it. And we're only 10 minutes into this video. Well, I got more money for you right now. It's about $5,000. One viewer got it. What is it? It's the money coming back from your states due to computer errors. Not your computer, their computer. The federal government has identified states as overpaying you unemployment assistance due to computer error, and then asking you to return the money which you did. Well, the federal government said, nope, that is your money to keep. And that's their computer to throw out the window. So the federal government has ordered you to get back that money. Wow. One viewer got $5,000 from it. When? Reach out to your respective states for routing times, and hopefully they'll be able to tell you the routing times if the computers are now working. Gotcha. Yeah. How do you check whether the checks are in the mail if the computers don't work in the first place? It's sort of, it's a sort of circular problem. Got to fix the computers, otherwise no one gets the checks about the computers that don't work. It's those darn states. But let's turn to the next pot of money. Margaret got it. Todd got it. Michael got it. Viewers continue to get it if you got it as well. I'm dropping the live chat right now. It is the money back from IRS on your unemployment taxes. Wow. Let's go over how much it is, when you're going to get it, routing times, and all that wonderful detail starting right now. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment assistance, and your total tax bill was $5,000, of which you paid $4,000 of taxes on it. You're getting back $4,000. When? Check your, in the month of June. Where? Direct deposit if you have that on the tax return, otherwise in the mail. How to track it? Yes, go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, go in there, and about 70% of the time you can track it. It's wonderful. You can track it and you'll see the tax return you filed, the taxes you're getting back, the taxes you paid, and the refund check you're getting back. Oh boy, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. With the second of 3 parts of your 4th stimulus check updated 2021 with breaking news today, starting right now. The President of the United States is calling the vote. The vote will start next week, the President of the United States announced. As to the reconciliation process, which has been underway for several weeks, viewers have been asking me, well, we understand that the final day of voting will be no later than July 4th, but when's the first day? And I've been saying it hadn't started. Well, the president has made it very clear. Put his foot down, put his shoe down, put his slipper down, put his cog down, put his cowboy boot down, put something down, and said, no, we're not doing this any longer. You're calling the vote starting next week. Wow. That is wonderful. Later in this video, I'll explain to you why the angst, why the oomph in the message, because he clearly was getting a little peeved about something. I'll explain to you what got him peeved and helped us, because now he's saying, call the darn vote already. I love it. But another thing, that Biden did it. He did it with a major deal he signed overseas in the last few days. A major deal that anchors forced stimulus right to the edge of the finish line. By no longer requiring those provisions in forced stimulus, they're now covered by this international agreement. I'm so excited for you. I'm going to explain that right now. But it starts with Leader Schumer. Leader Schumer on the Friday before Memorial Day weekend confirmed not one but the 3 details I've been reporting to you. Number 1, the reconciliation process is underway. Number 2, it will be done by final vote by July 4th. Number 3, it will be passed by final vote by July 4th. So how did we get to that point? We got to that point by the House bill's author, Jalapal, writing Schumer a letter saying, call the vote, Chuck, on the recon, which we're now doing. Well, that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, who are among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, Mr. President, when we write the forced stimulus package, we're going to put monthly forced stimulus checks in there. OMG, that's really good news. Can you top that? I can't top it. About a week ago, 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter, which has now been front page news on virtually every mainstream media, and said, Mr. President, when we write up the forced stimulus package in our subcommittee, we're going to be putting those monthly stimulus checks in there. Who are these people to say that? Who are they? They're on the House subcommittee that's solely exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks in the U.S. Congress, House of Representatives. Wow. Did they write the first stimulus check? They did. Did they write the second stimulus check? They did. Did they write the third? They wrote the third. And now they're currently marking up the bill, they confirmed to news. And they say they're going to write a 4th stimulus check in there. And they say they're going to do a 5th stimulus check later this fall. More about that 5th stimulus check coming up later in this video. Oh yes, it's getting good. And we can get better. And it's this breaking news. Biden does it. He signs a major new deal overseas last weekend that anchors forced stimulus right to the finish line. Let me explain how we got to that point. It started a recent Tuesday ago when I said he did something confusing, complicated. I need to slow it down to make it easy for you. Because when things are complicated, that's my job to make it understandable for you. And let me do that right now by slowing it down. The President of the United States is paying for forced stimulus by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. That's the rate that corporations pay for taxes in the United States. But he had said he's worried about raising the U.S. corporate tax rate because there's other countries that have lower corporate tax rates. And our businesses in America may leave our soils and go overseas where they can find a lower corporate tax rate. So the president had reached out to leaders of other countries and said, let's raise the minimum global corporate tax rate. That would prevent any benefits of moving overseas. They would get the same rate. Well, those countries tentatively agreed. Good news. To which the president reached out to his insiders and said, I like how this is going. This fall, around Christmas, let's go back to those countries' leaders and get them to sign on the dotted line about that. And then if they do, then we'll go back and remove the provisions for forced stimulus. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful news. But it got better. As Biden surprised everyone. I tipped you off with the details of this first 2 Fridays ago. But finally, last weekend, the president does it. Biden did it. What did he do? He went overseas for his first international trip, and his first stop was to those G7 country leaders to sign into law that provision now, not in December. Before stimulus? Yes. Anchoring forced stimulus right to the edge of the finish line and making it easier to pass forced stimulus because those provisions are no longer needed in forced stimulus because they're now in this international agreement. Wow. Now, this is wonderful news. The provisions are now covered by the international agreement, so a lot of these provisions are no longer needed in forced stimulus. It makes it easier to pass forced stimulus. Boy, oh boy, that is great news. Can we top that? We can, with the third part of our forced stimulus check update later in this video, coming up after the commercial break. And we can also top it with the volunteers. The volunteers embody the true spirit of this channel, the Purple Power, people helping people. And they've stepped forward to help you get that rent, utilities, mortgage, internet, SNAP, if you can't find it yourself. So reach out to them. How do you find them? On the community page. The community page is separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go to the description of this video. Open the description and you will see a emoji of a house. Click that emoji of the house. It sends you the community page, news.lalate.com/community. The volunteers are separated there. Reach out to them and they'll help you get that money. I'm back with you in 60 seconds with more exciting details about forced stimulus and fifth stimulus in this extended, exciting noontime broadcast with a lot of breaking news. Stay with me. See you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. They're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Noontime LA, direct from Santa Monica, live on air with you with the latest updates about your fourth stimulus and your fifth stimulus heating up this fall. How are you? Tell me where you're tuning in from and how the weather is if you're just joining this live broadcast. In the second half of this video, we'll go over the third part of the fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. And we'll be turning to fifth stimulus that has an additional stimulus check and raising up your benefits. A lot of breaking news. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Let's jump into the fifth stimulus. First, during the commercial break, someone asked about rent assistance in Florida. All volunteers help you nationally, so they're not separated state by state. Let's jump into fifth stimulus. A lot of breaking news. Number one. Fifth stimulus check, yes. So the Senate Democrats represent that, House Democrats represent that they will be putting a fifth stimulus check into the fifth stimulus package. Viewers have been a little confused when. This is likely 2022 because fifth stimulus does not go to a final vote until about October or November. That means that it doesn't become a law until right around the holidays. No time to send out a stimulus check during the holidays, rather next year. And that's perfect alignment based upon what they're probably thinking. Fourth stimulus this year, fifth stimulus checks next year. Very easy breezy. Second major detail, which I'm very excited about, but I never see a viewer excited about it. It's very ironic, is the president's dedicating $1 billion to the Social Security Administration for the insurance that benefits checks and stimulus checks and any other type of checks go out now on time, quicker and faster, ramping up payroll, ramping up computer processes. Earlier this year, for third stimulus was a debacle as people on benefits often got checks later, weeks later, almost a month later. We had a whole problem with a particular with a certain direct deposit card. We had a lot of problems. He's trying to eliminate all that, so that would be all gone. Finally, the last big news, which is Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, is testifying today on Capitol Hill for day 2. Do not expect him to say something, because if he does say something, it would be a surprise. He's going by script about inflation, and he's likely not to say anything different unless someone trips him up. He's been very well practiced in this, not to be tripped up. But here is what you do need to know about inflation and your benefits of SSI and SSDI and veterans benefits. We have been talking about the inflation rate maybe being 2 to 7% later this year. And then I talked about Jeremy Siegel, that he was sort of fringe, he was up at 20%. Well, in the last few days, Wall Street's really changed. They now say that we're currently likely at a 4% inflation rate, and that we're likely heading to a 10% inflation rate at its peak before we come back down. So we're currently at 4 and we're going up and heading up to 10. Why? Because consumer price index number and the producer price index number were released yesterday and last week, signaling goods are just going through the roof. The price of goods are going through the roof. Now that you understand how that inflation rate is zooming up to a potential 10% peak at its high end later this year, at a time later this year, we don't know when it is, let's go over how that is applied to your benefits. First, they'll raise your benefits up under this reform. Then they'll apply that benchmark. They'll remove the asset limit, remove the income exclusion, remove the marriage penalty. All right, now let's do the calculation so you see how this works. First, they'll raise your benefits up one big time. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, or multiple benefits. Then they'll apply that benchmark. Now, they apply the benchmark every November, December for next year. You have to hope that that inflation rate, which is running up from 4% now to potentially a 9% peak before it goes down, hits that peak about when they apply your benchmark in December and November. Because if it does, it's wonderful. Because your benefits would be raised up, let's say, 10% if that peak coincides exactly when they're doing it. But not 10% next year. Your benefits would be raised up 10% lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. This is wonderful news. Then they'll remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away so you can have the stimulus checks in your hand. They're going to remove an income cap, dating back to the 1960s law that says you can't have more than you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. And they're going to remove the marriage penalty, so you'll no longer lose benefits if you get married, or no longer be penalized if you are married. Viewers like Sandy and Rob will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty at all. And there you go. That is your fifth stimulus check updated 2021. Two things I would say about that new for noontime are additionally new for noontime is one, there's a new report out today talking about how high your benefits will be raised up later this year because of COLA. Understand that's talking about if the fifth stimulus is not passed. So if you do see those articles, they're referring to the current situation, not when the law is passed. Number two, it's important to understand that this money, that your benefits is stepping up based upon a massive inflationary spike, is the biggest payout you would ever see for SSI and SDI. So at no time should anyone ever be asking what happened about that SS200, because the SS200 is this small compared to this, which is astronomical under fifth stimulus. It's an enormous amount more money under fifth stimulus. So there we go. Now, if you want to know what's in third stimulus that the viewers are getting thousands of dollars from, or fourth stimulus or fifth stimulus, then consider becoming a member. The membership link's at the top of the chat in the pinned comment. If you're looking at the live chat, you're looking at people who have emojis of a hawk next to their name, purple hawk, they're members. Members are delivered from me daily, a breakdown of everything in third, fourth, and fifth stimulus. It's important for you to know that there's thousands, tens of thousands of dollars potentially for you under third stimulus for you to get that's application-based, not automatic. And if you don't know that money, then you don't get it. So I want you to consider becoming a member so that you get a breakdown sent to you daily of everything that's in third, fourth, and fifth stimulus for you to consider. All right, now let's turn back to fourth stimulus for our third part of our fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. No less than 4 details I want to go over for you in this third part. Number 1, personal message. Number 2, routing times. Number 3, false narratives. And number 4, purple power. All right, personal message. First, it's important to understand that this is not the stimulus psychic network. And at no time should you ever partake in the stimulus psychic network anywhere, whether it's on your front porch or at the water cooler of your friend. Stimulus checks are not something for you to guess, guesstimate, speculate. I think, I heard, I think, I wonder, I heard, do you believe? Why? Because it's legislation. Early in this video, you heard about something called marking up the bill. It literally means it's a pen and a paper. Someone's making edits to a draft of a legislation. That's what legislators do. So one legislator may have stimulus checks in there, and the other legislator may have a whiteout and an eraser in his hand ready to take it out. So you understand that you have to be pushing because the situation is far from over. Number 2, routing times. It's very important to understand these routing times. You've been great in understanding that it'll be done by July 4th, but you've also been wondering when was the president going to start the voting. Now we see that starting the voting. Let's go over the 9 steps with focus on that. Step number 5, 7, and 8, starting right now. Step 1, procedural bills called for a vote in the subcommittee of the House. Step 2, procedural bill called for a vote on the House floor. Step 3, Senate passes the procedural bill. Step 4, the president signs the procedural bill. The tow truck is passed over the finish line. Time to go back and get the tow hitch, the substantive bill. Step 5, the very important step 5. The House subcommittee that's currently marking up the bill calls for a vote in the House subcommittee, the substantive bill, which can or cannot or may not have those stimulus checks in there. You want them to have them in there. Step 6, the House floor votes on the substantive bill. Step 7 and 8, the 2-day vote-a-rama in the Senate. It's actually called vote-a-rama. What will happen? They amend anything they got, if they wish, from the House. So, 3 possibilities. They get from the House a bill that has no stimulus checks. They can amend it and add them in there. Possibility number 2. They get from the House a bill that has stimulus checks in there, and they leave it alone. Number 3, they get something from the House that has stimulus checks in there, but they don't like something, so they amend it. Step 9, the president signs it into law. Which brings us to the important detail of why the president likely cracked the whip about this in the last 24 hours. This morning, I think this afternoon, for Afternoons LA, I say Ron Portman, but I meant Rob Portman. Thank you to the viewer who corrected me on that. It's likely that the president got peeved, and I would expect him to get peeved. Why? Because the president of the United States had been negotiating this in a certain universe of which it was. And he understood that the reconciliation process was underway and that he was not going to hold up the reconciliation process. But if he got an agreement, he would get an agreement. As soon as he got on a plane to travel internationally, what happened? A bunch of people who are not in the inner circle of anything, they're on the fringes of the fringes, started to meet and start to talk when they didn't represent the GOP and they didn't represent the Democrats. Why? For political self-advancement, not to actually get anything for you. And what I had told you on Friday, I told you this week, and I'm going to tell you all week and next week. They are much of nothing. They are what I call fake narrative or false narrative. They will be people that are trying to make it look like they're doing something regarding negotiations. They are not. So if you hear it, see it, throw it away. Don't even acknowledge it. Why? On the one hand, there is a protagonista, a Democrat out of Arizona who doesn't represent the Democrats' position, and she's trying to negotiate on another platform that's not the Democrats' position. So they don't allow her, they don't support her even being in those negotiations. Number two, the people she's negotiating with are fringe, outer echelon GOP exiting members like Ron Portman that don't represent the GOP. In fact, they're Democrats, in fact, they're Republicans that have already nearly peeved off the GOP. Why? They're senators who are quitting. Can you imagine a senator quitting when the balance of power is so close between Republicans and Democrats? Bernie Sanders did not want to quit his seat as a senator to join the administration's cabinet because they wanted to keep every seat that they had as a Democrat. Same thing with the Republicans. They don't want to lose a single seat. So can you imagine a Rob Portman quitting as a Republican to leave his seat now potentially up for a Democrat to take? Republicans don't like him. Democrats despise him. Americans don't like him. Why? He was the guy in 2020 who said, in the thick of the pandemic, when the pandemic was at its worst state in July 2020, that you're lazy, you need to get back to work, and that your FPUC should be cut off. Yep, that's the guy. So I think, in my speculation only, the president probably got a little bit peeved being overseas, getting on a plane, and suddenly seeing Rob Portman, of all people, trying to negotiate on behalf of something that he's been working months on, coming out of nowhere. I think he was a little peeved. And that's why I think that's why the president said, call the vote. Either way, we're excited because now he's calling the vote. Which brings us finally to the purple power push. It's important to understand that legislators are legislators, and they're constantly making edits and changes. We have 3 emojis on this channel: not bill yet, not law yet, and then donut. There's always someone on Afternoons LA that jumps into the live chat that's not a subscriber, not a member, says, what date is the 4th stimulus check going out? Donut, that's the donut guy. Donut, don't presume anything. Here's what you need to know. In 2020, a lot of legislators proposed things, but never wrote it down as a piece of paper. In 2020, they had proposals, but never made it a bill. The problem creators. They had bills, but they never called it for a vote. Cash Act 2020. That was to pay a $3,200 retroactive stimulus check to adult dependents. And finally, they had bills passed that became laws, and the money never went out. EIDL grant. So you need to push. More importantly, it's more important to push now than ever before for a series of reasons. Number one, we're very close to the finish line. So there's almost no time left to sit around and hold your hand out for a donut, because the opportunity to push is right now. This is where they're modifying the language. Number two, they need to hear from you, because 2021 right now is not 2020. Some people are back to normal, back to work, back perfectly fine. Other people are struggling with massive piles of debt, are not back to work. Their states are cutting off unemployment assistance, like West Virginia this week, and they're struggling. And the legislators need to hear your story if you're struggling. They don't know it unless you tell it to them, because it's a mixed society where some people have rebounded and other people have not. So go on social media, tag them MSC, tag them Purple Power, tag who? Democratic senators, Democratic House members, wherever they are, whether in your state or in other states, and tell them, I need MSC because I need these stimulus checks because. If you don't use social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or Reddit, then use the old-fashioned way, the telephone. Pick up the telephone and call them, because every time you communicate to them professionally and respectfully to their staffers, they hear it. They don't have staffers of 500 people. They have staffers of a couple dozen. They hear another person calling every day about that monthly stimulus check, and they get that message very loud and clear. And so with that, make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcium VIP, and learn the money that you're entitled to under third stimulus, fourth, and fifth. I'm next back with you on afternoons LA at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, followed by evenings LA, and then overnights crypto and evenings crypto. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful noontime. I hope the weather's good where you are, and stay with LA for more.